What's up, Guardians? Profane here. Thanks for checking out the video. Today we're taking a look at the new Season of the Witch artifact. There are 25 new mods available this season, and I've unlocked and tested them all so that you don't have to waste the time in figuring out which ones you should be using. I wouldn't say that this is the best artifact that we've gotten, but it's certainly not the worst. It has quite a few standouts. So let's get started. In the first column, we have our anti-champion mods, which are all fairly self-explanatory. Anti-barrier auto rifle will grant any equipped auto rifle with the ability to pierce any type of shield, including barrier champions. Piercing bowstrings will do the same to any equipped bow, with the exception of Luminarch and Leviathan's Breath. Overload hand cannon grants disruption rounds after scoring 2 shots within 6 seconds of each other. This delays ability regeneration, lowers the enemy's damage output, and stuns overload champions. Enemies will remain affected by disruption for 6 seconds. Both Unstoppable Scout Rifle and Unstoppable Fusion Rifle grant these weapons the ability to load an explosive round that staggers enemies. You have to aim down sights for at least 1 second without firing. The weapon will take a red tone, and you'll have the Unstoppable flavor text on the left side of your screen when this staggering round is loaded. In the second column, we start off with 3 different Siphon combo mods: Arc with Strand, Solar with Strand, and Void with Strand. This permits the use of these mods on any helmet piece for the cost of 3 energy. They grant weapons of matching energy affinities the ability to create orbs. Next is the Origin Perk Specialization mod. This is a really good mod to use. It improves the performance of Head Rush, Nanotech Tracer Rockets, Unsated Hunger, and the new Crota's End Cursed Thrall Origin trait. This artifact mod provides a straight 50% across the board increase to the values of each of these origin traits. Weapons with Head Rush receive 30 points of handling and reload speed when standing up after crouching, as opposed to its normal 15 points. Weapons with Nanotech Tracer Rockets will deal an additional 20% damage. Weapons with Unsated Hunger gain bonus stability, handling, and reload speed when all of your abilities are uncharged. This provides an extra 50 points to the charge rate of swords and 40 points to the charge rate of guard endurance. This perk doubles the benefits of each of these bonuses, which does technically cause some of these abilities to exceed 100 points of performance value out of Bungie's 0 to 100 point scale, which means that even with handling getting technically a 120 point bonus, it will just get capped out at 100. Still though, an absolutely incredible benefit. The only thing we know at this time about the Cursed Thrall Explosion origin trait is that after a melee final blow, your next weapon final blow will cause that enemy to explode, dealing the equivalent of Dragonfly level damage to those nearby. Divineer's Discount reduces the cost of ammo scavenger mods that are used on your boots all the way down to 1 energy. Thanatonic Tangles is a mod that we've seen in other forms, in other seasons. This gives strand weapons a chance to create tangles after final blows. This can synergize really well with the new hunter aspect called Whirling Maelstrom. Tangles created by weapons with this mod are not bound to a cooldown in the same way that your abilities are, but instead a counter that builds up on each final blow. You receive more progress on higher ranked enemies. Up next, we have our second Origin Perk Specialization mod, which takes weapons with the same origin traits that we mentioned before and grants them overcharge. This will be an active buff that is applied when you are in an activity that has the overcharged weapon modifier. This would be in activities like Lost Sectors, Nightfalls, and Grandmasters, granting these weapons a 25% bonus in damage. But it's important to know that this bonus does not stack on top of weapon surge mods, so be sure to keep that in mind as you're putting your builds together for whatever activity you're in. Next, we have 3 separate elemental orb mods. When one is selected, weapons of the matching energy type have a chance to create an elemental orb after final blows. These are identical to strand tangles in almost every way. You or allies can pick these up and throw them at enemies, dealing out a base amount of 451 points of damage. That translates to 101 points in Crucible, enough to kill a Guardian. When using the Arc mod, these orbs will jolt targets and nearby enemies. The Solar orbs will apply Scorch, and the Void orbs will apply Volatile. Energy effects aside, the overall damage that these orbs inflict upon your enemies are about the same. Next, we have the Overload Machine Gun mod, giving machine guns the ability to apply disruption rounds and stun overload champions. With other artifact mods that we'll talk about later offering bonus heavy ammo, heavy machine guns will be a great choice in a lot of in-game content this season, so this will be a great mod to use. In case you're wondering, you cannot double dip on the disruption benefits with this mod when using the Thunderlord. Elemental Fury will be a necessary mod to use in activities that you face champions. Once a champion is stunned, you'll deal 25% bonus damage from any ability or any elemental orb until that champion becomes unstunned. Next up, Communal Pickups. You only want to use this mod when using one of the Elemental Orbs mods. I would also recommend to avoid using this when using Weapon Surge mods, as the two bonuses will not stack. This mod provides a 5-second reduction in your Tangle or Element Orb cooldown whenever an ally destroys or picks up one of your Tangles or Elemental Orbs. When this happens, you will receive a 22% damage bonus on any weapon that matches your subclass. This damage bonus will last for 10 seconds. Refreshing Orbs is another mod that's dependent on at least someone in your fire team using an Elemental Orbs mod or a Strand build. When picking up a Tangle or Elemental Orb, you receive an instant bonus in your least charged energy. This is a 33% bonus to any of the 3 abilities. Semi-Auto Striker provides some interesting benefits, as it can provide you with a means of easily maintaining your armor charges. If you are at 1 or 2 armor charges and land consecutive shots on any enemy when using a bow, a sniper, or scout rifle, you'll receive 1 stack of armor charge. If you're in a situation where you're not generating a whole lot of orbs, then this works out great because you can easily maintain any weapon surge or ability enhancing mods. Monochromatic Maestro is all about matching your weapons with your subclass, as it provides a 10% across the board bonus to ability damage and weapon damage. Get a final blow with a weapon and you'll get bonus ability damage, and vice versa. This only lasts 5 seconds, and this does not stack with weapon surge mods, and it does not work with Strand or while in the Crucible. Rapid Fire Ranger is low-key one of the most beneficial mods available in this artifact. Landing consecutive precision hits against enemies who are at least 40 meters away causes those enemies to become weakened, causing them to take an additional 15% damage from any source. These effects will not stack with other debuffs like Divinity, Tractor Cannon, or Void debuffs. Elemental Embrace is, in my opinion, the best artifact mod that we get this season. Whenever you get an elemental buff that matches your subclass, like Devour, Woven Mail, Radiance, or Amplified, you will get an instant 50 points of additional recovery and 50% damage resistance to any damage source that matches your subclass. This can be instantly re-triggered once the buff has expired, and it will last for 6 seconds. This is going to be an extremely beneficial mod in a lot of the in-game content this season. You just have to be sure to match your subclass with the damage types that your enemies will be using the most. So Ghost of the Deep, for example, an arc build is going to continue to be the way. This even works while in the Crucible. And then we have Elemental Munitions. I wouldn't say that this is as beneficial as the Lucent Finisher mods were, but it's damn near close. Anytime you defeat a target with a Tangle or an Elemental Orb, you have a 20 to 30% chance of dropping either Special and or Heavy. Using Scavenger and Reserve mods will help improve the amount of ammo that you'll get from these bricks. The final artifact mod that we have this season is Frenzied Stacks, and this one can be a very lucrative mod to use. Based on how many armor charges that you currently have, when you throw a Tangle or an Elemental Orb, you'll receive a bonus in damage to that Tangle or that Orb. This even applies to the damage done by the Strand Hunter's Whirling Maelstrom. With 1 armor charge active, you'll gain a 30% increase, 60% with the use of 2, 90% with the use of 3, 120% with the use of 4, 150% with the use of 5, and yes, That's right, 180% bonus damage when 6 armor charges are active. These inflict a base amount of 451 points of damage, 101 points in Crucible. That's a ridiculous amount of bonus damage. The damage bonus towards Whirling Maelstrom gets reduced just ever so slightly. Its damage bonus starts at 20% and ends at 75%, which is still a ridiculous amount of damage to be able to inflict upon your enemies this season. What's even better about this is that it does not consume your armor charges in the process. So if you're using the Elemental Orbs mod or a Strand build, then Frenzied Stack will be a must-used artifact mod. But I'm still holding strong that Elemental Embrace is going to be the most impactful mod out of this artifact. There's a few that I'm on the fence about, but for the most part, it's a very solid artifact, offering some very powerful mods that are really going to be beneficial to your performances this season. I'll be working on a slew of new build videos once the dust has settled, so be sure to stay tuned for all of those. But in the meantime, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this season's artifact and which mods are your favorites. Thank you as always for checking out the video. If you enjoyed and found it helpful, then be sure to hit that like button below, along with the subscribe button if you're new. Both are greatly appreciated and both really do help support the channel. And until next time, Guardians, this has been Profane, wishing you all some happy hunting.